It's important to look at all clients from a strengths-based approach. Realistically, there are times when this is easier said than done. In this module, I'll present a case to you and highlight the identified strengths as well as risk and safety factors with the goal of utilizing the client's strengths to create a safety plan. The client is a 19-year-old Latina female who appears as stated age. The client was dressed appropriately for the weather and does not have any pertinent or known underlying medical conditions or disabilities. The client has known involvement with the child welfare system as a minor herself and is noted to be residing in a group home for young mothers who are former dependents of the court. The client self-reports a history of substance abuse and sex work. The client presented to the emergency department with her 7-month-old son, stating that after she bathed her son the previous evening, she had him on the bed and he rolled off onto the floor. This occurred approximately 14 hours prior to the client's presentation in the emergency department. Emergency department staff have concerns about possible child abuse. The radiologist reports the 7-month-old patient has a fractured right leg in both the tibia and fibula. The radiologist reports this is an unusual fracture to have happened from a fall off of the bed and appears inconsistent with the injuries as the type of fracture was a buccal fracture. The treating physician, however, did not suspect any physical abuse and felt the injury was consistent with the mother's explanation. Social work assistance was requested in evaluating the child's safety and the appropriateness of a referral to Child Protective Services. The mother was receptive to the social worker visiting, however presented with both anxious mood and affect. Her thought processing presented as clear and coherent. The client was asked what brought her to the emergency department. The client stated that this morning she noticed swelling below the patient's knee, and given his fall the previous evening, she had taken the patient to his primary care provider in the morning. Upon examination by the primary care provider, she was instructed to bring the child to the emergency department. The mother was asked to share more about the child's fall from the bed. The mother stated that she had given the child a bath the previous evening and set him on the bed to dry him off. The mother put lotion on the child and dressed him. Mother then states she fed the child and set him in the middle of the bed and turned to place the lotion bottle back on the dresser. Mother stated she saw the child lean back and fall off the bed. The mother stated that she did not attempt to catch the child as she thought this would have hurt him further by causing him to hit the metal bed frame. Mother reports her bed is about 2 feet off of the floor. The mother continued, stating that the patient had deformed body movements and was trying to balance himself or break his fall. Mother stated she also had not been wearing her eyeglasses and therefore couldn't see his fall in detail. I asked the mother how the child had landed, for example, feet first, head first, etc., and the mother stated he landed hip first and then onto his back. The mother denied the child hit his head and denied seeing the child's feet hit the floor. I asked the mother to provide information on whether the child is meeting his developmental milestones. The mother stated the child has been crawling for about 2 weeks, but is not walking at this time. This is consistent with age-appropriate developmental milestones for a child of 7 months. The patient is also noted to be able to sit alone without support and pull himself up to stand. The patient can also roll over. I asked the mother about any history of mental health issues or substance abuse, which she denied despite a previous statement. It was then determined that the patient would need a long leg cast. Upon learning this, the mother stated that she believes the child's bones are scraped and not fractured. The treating physician explained the patient's injuries to the mother, showing her the X-ray results. The mother became agitated with the physician, stating she feels she knows her son's injuries and does not believe he needs a cast. The physician again attempted to explain why the extent of the injuries requires casting and what the benefits of casting would be for the child's own healing. The mother then reluctantly became agreeable to consenting to the placement of the cast. At this time, it was determined that a referral to Child Protective Services would be warranted and in line with duties as a mandated reporter for concerns of child abuse and neglect. It should be noted that approximately 1 week later, the mother returned to the ED with the child after having removed the child's cast. The mother reported having soaked the cast in water and using a ruler to loosen the cast so that she could remove it. There was evidence of concerns about the child's safety due to the mother's disregard for medical care, instructions, and poor judgment in maintaining the child's safety. At this time, the mother presented with delusional thinking and paranoia. The mother noted that the child was expressing discomfort and wanted the cast removed. Child Protective Services did respond to the emergency department on that presentation and detained the child from the mother's care. The mother became distressed and agitated, raising her voice and making veiled threats toward non-specific people. Campus safety was contacted, and the mother was able to be de-escalated. As you saw during this presentation, the following concerns were noted. The mother reports the child had been lying on his back in the middle of the bed and that the fall occurred while she turned around and placed lotion on a dresser. Given that the child had been laying on his back in the middle of the bed and the mother did not move from the location but simply turned around to place items on the dresser, it does not seem likely that there would have been enough time for the child to make his way to the edge of the bed and fall, given his developmental status. Regardless of the mother's explanation that the child landed on the floor hip first and his feet were not seen to touch the floor, implies that the injury of a buccal fracture is inconsistent with the explanation. It is also possible that the mother exercised poor judgment in not intervening or attempting to catch the child as she saw him fall. Furthering concern was mother's reluctance to have the child's leg cast, an implication that she feels she would have better knowledge of the child's medical condition than the treating physician. The mother's statement that the child's bones are scraped and may not be fractured may imply not only poor judgment, but possible concerns regarding thought processing and mental health issues. This is reinforced when she removes the cast. The mother has a history of engaging in risky behavior and herself has a history of being involved with child welfare as a child, and this could play a role in her perception of the intervention as well as her reluctance on external supports. You also saw strengths highlighted as the case was presented. It should be noted that it is a strength that the mother brought the child to the primary care physician in the first place and followed up with the recommended ED visit. Additionally, the mother appeared to be caring and bonded with the child during the visit and assessment. The mother has appropriate housing resources, and the child also appears well-nourished. The mother has been receptive to social work involvement. The strengths perspective would lead us to utilize the existing strengths to come up with a safety plan. In this scenario, it would be important to highlight the mother's strengths in her presence in order to further support her positive working relationship with the social work provider. The social worker could then further assess the resources available at the mother's group home to determine whether enough supportive resources could aid in safely maintaining the child in the mother's care. If the child cannot remain safely in the mother's care, utilizing her existing support network through the group home to link with mental health care will be important. Identifying that the mother is able to recognize the child's needs may indicate that an intensive program like family preservation may be beneficial. What else might you add? Even in difficult cases, strengths should be used to address concerns and mitigate safety issues.